Several well-known U.S. companies continue to operate in Russia, despite increased pressure to halt operations there over the invasion in Ukraine. Most U.S. food companies and fast food chains, everything from McDonald's to Coca-Cola to Pizza Hut to Starbucks, have remained open in Russia because most of their locations are operated by franchises there. However, the New York Times reports, quote, unlike other chains, McDonald's owns the vast majority of its 847 restaurants in Russia. McDonald's has made no statement about the invasion, and a company spokesman did not respond to questions by the paper. Starbucks, meanwhile, condemned the unprovoked, unjust, and horrific attacks on Ukraine and said the company would donate any royalties it receives from its operations in Russia to humanitarian relief efforts in Ukraine, along with other financial contributions. Willie?
In an effort to impose harsher sanctions on Russia, some members of the Ukrainian government are planning to urge U.S. Congress to impose stricter penalties on corporations that pay taxes in Russia. The Washington Post reports Ukrainian leaders are expected to ask members of Congress to delist all such corporations from the U.S. stock exchange. They also want the American government to freeze the assets of all Russian oligarchs on the Forbes 100 list if they do not denounce Russian President Vladimir Putin within 48 hours. Joining us now, a member of the Ukrainian parliament, Marian Zablotsky. Mr. Zablotsky, thank you so much for being with us. Mika ticked through some of the Western companies that have cut ties with Russia. You've got BP, Exxon, Shell, GM, credit card companies, Netflix, TikTok, all manner of companies that have ceased operations in Russia. What specifically more would you like to see?
Well, we're grateful to those companies that have left the Russian market. And in principle, we have no problem with Russians eating junk food from McDonald's, drinking cola, smoking Marlboro. In fact, we all wish that is all the Russian army eats and consumes. The less healthy they are, the better. But we have significant problems with the taxes that these companies pay to the state budget of Russia. Obviously, parts of this money go to the military, and from their payroll of Russian soldiers is being paid. For this ammunition is being bought weaponry that kill our people, kill innocent children. And unfortunately, in these circumstances, we think it is immoral for any foreign business in Russia to pay any taxes to the Russian government.
So, Mr. Zablotsky, obviously Russia depends so much on oil and gas for its profits and to fuel the war, frankly. We saw Shell step away from Russia today. There's been some talk in the United States Congress and into the White House now about banning the import of Russian oil and gas into the United States. Is that a step you'd like to see?
Definitely. Russia cannot threaten anyone unless it has additional incomes. Currently, just because of their actions, I know that their oil is being sold at a discount, so they are not fully able to profit from the increase in energy prices. But I think this is also the lesson for the future. You cannot have stable ties with tyrants, with people who order the killings of their opponents, because sooner or later you will have to cut ties with them. Everything should be done to lower dependence on them, and that should have been done long in the past.
Mr. Zablotsky, much of the world, and especially the United States, the people in the United States, stand in awe of the courage and resilience of the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian army. Now, you've been at this war for a couple of weeks. You're vastly outmanned, but you have managed to hold back the Russians from capturing key cities like Kyiv. And you've captured Russian soldiers. A couple of them have been featured in American news media talking about their travails, the fact that they did not know what they were charged with doing. What can you tell us about the Russian army that you're facing still every day, every hour of every day?
Well, first of all, we are not outmanned. We are outgunned and outplanned. So the Russia's military expenditures are 10 times of that of Ukraine, so they have just more equipment and they are trying to shoot from the air. That's why we are asking for the fighter jets to be delivered to Ukraine for more anti-air defenses and the possibility of the no-fly zone. But greatly, yes, I mean, we knew that from the very beginning, that the morale of our soldiers will be very high, because literally I have friends in the military who stay in Kyiv, their families stay in Kyiv. And for them, there is no stepping back, because the wife and a small kid is behind them. And that does not compare to the morale of some random Russian guy who has $500 salary per month and has been given unclear orders. Of course, the morale is 100 times greater on our side.
Marian Zablotsky, Ukrainian member of parliament, calling with many of his colleagues to stop American investment into the nation of Russia, saying it funds the atrocities that we're seeing right now. Mr. Zablotsky, thanks so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.